Starting at the top of the map, game number 1 of the best of 3 starts the Zerg player. Yes.
Samsung Galaxy RorO.
RorO, former GSL champion, he is going up against the Protoss player in the first round of the Challenger League. Starting to the bottom of Polar Knight, we have
SK Telecom T1 Classic.
We talked about a little bit about Classic already in the pre-game talk. Just looking at his statistics, he has 13 map wins and only 2 map losses. Leaves him with an 86% win ratio. Took down opponents like Crazy, Effort, Savage, Zero, and a pretty decent record. Maybe not the same level of players that RorO had to face in the past, but his track record in this matchup is pretty stellar.
Yeah.
On the other,
I was just saying they're all fairly recent. A lot of those, so. I mean, he's taking he's really going down a strong path when it comes to being this process or Zerg players. So, like you said, I think RorO has definitely beaten some higher caliber players in the past, but Classic definitely doing well in this matchup.
Yeah, RorO with 26 maps played is looking at a 53 win ratio in the matchup itself. You might argue that he has a lot more experience just in general and is just used to play under a lot more pressure. Of course, we have just with a bit, not really the same amount of games played, but a similar amount of games played Classic in a situation where he definitely had a lot of face time on camera, but at the same time RorO was in finals several times, so there's a lot of pressure that he had to deal with in the past. That might help him here in the first round, because keep in mind, if you lose here, you drop down to Code B, you will have to try to re-qualify for the Challenger League next season. So this is the most tense moment in gamer's history when you go into the Challenger League.
Yeah, exactly. These are what we've called the danger days, because it's dangerous to be here. If you're ever in this situation, you may never be in a Korean tournament again. If you fail to qualify the next season and you continue to fail to qualify, then a lot of careers have even ended because of this, so you got to be really careful. RorO is hitting, by the way, up to about 600 APM at times here, it looks like, so he is really spamming it out right now.
And both players are going for very normal build orders. There's nothing too exciting going down just yet. We have starting with the pool into hatch. Gas taking a bit early here for RorO as well. Against the gateway opening that Classic has here, definitely a good start. But both players just sticking to the normal build orders. We don't have an early pool here. Nobody's trying to rush anything out. Just testing the water a little bit in the first game.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a good map for that type of style, to just play a normal straight-up game, no specific builds, just kind of reactionary, because the map is very straight-up, very simple. The third base is relatively easy for both races to take quickly.
A couple of tricky things that especially Terran can do at that natural and behind it, so this particular matchup doesn't come into place too much. As a Protoss player, you can try to abuse it a little bit later down the road. A lot of times we see pylons placed down there, which is one of the main reasons why we currently have the Overlord of RorO at the bottom left, also scouting what exactly is going on there. Wants to see the third base later on, and will most likely also send one to the top right to find out if there's maybe something hidden in the early mid game.
Yeah, a lot of players will take that backdoor base as their fourth because they want to have the forward third. A miss here on the Stargate, it looks like he does not see the tag.
He had a lot of Overlords just being built, and the Roach run is also going down, so that works out quite well, so that he can start with a couple of Roaches here. He's saving up 9. He can definitely go for it now if he wants to. He has the resources, and there comes 6 Roaches right off the bat. So RorO is going to be really aggressive in this game after all, starting things off with a faster speed and going straight into Roach speedruns.
Yeah, I really did not expect this. Like I was saying before, this seemed like the best map to just kind of test the waters and play a straight-up game and see exactly how in shape your opponent is. But he's going for a big commitment. He's even hiding the Roaches here.
It's actually looking really good for him.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's no Void Race. It's just Phoenix is coming out here. I think there's only 1 sentry. No additional gateways have been adding. He's adding double gas right now.
That's not only the only problem that he has facing here. The Stargate is a part of the wall. So he can snipe the Stargate and therefore negate the early attack of his opponent. There's so many links also on the way. Just look at how the army supply suddenly just jumps up for RorO here. He's at 36 to 12.
Did he not get warp gear research, or is he just not using it? That gateway in the main. Okay, so he did finish it. He can warp in sentries here, but he's going to have to react perfectly here. And a little bit slow on that one. I don't see any way of him holding this. No way.
Yeah, he's swapping in additional sentries, of course, maybe with the force fields, but the problem really is that he has range shielded as well, and those Phoenixes are doing what they can. But the first gateway is already gone. 1 or 2 links are getting into the main base or in the natural, trying to what they can
There's
against
just-
the sentries, but the Stargate is going to
Yeah.
die, and he doesn't have any other defense here.
There's no production. He can't make cannons. He doesn't have a forge. And this is looking like it's going to be game here. The Lings are already killing the sentries, and Photon Overcharge goes down, but he just doesn't have any production here.
RorO in the past has used very aggressive builds against Proto Squares, and see one of the ones that actually take them down with a build that was even without speed for the Zerglings, and here he plays another aggressive build, is successful in game number 1. The Proto Square already on the ropes, losing a lot here, and RorO is just getting more units into the picture.
He's stabilized a little bit, but he needs to remake his wall. He's doing that right now.
He doesn't have any units that he can use here. That's his big problem. The Mothership Core only helps him so much, and the next wave of Lings is already rolling in.
Oh, he needed those force fields. That was not good. He needs to drop at least one here. What is he doing?
There go the sentries, and this is not looking good.
Yeah, you know, it looked for a second if he had walled there, maybe he could have actually potentially held this, but he has a third Nexus going up here.
He's doing not... Well, he's still behind, but he's going for the third Nexus and taking a gamble there. And that's a gamble that might actually help him to pull this off after all.
Yeah, there's no scout on that third.
He lost his target on the other hand, he lost the gateway, he lost a lot of production. So in terms of workers lost, he had to sacrifice 10. And now we have with the lava mechanics immediately the drones coming in. So the drone count, as you can see on the board right now, is increasing rapidly for RorO. He bought himself a pretty good spot.
Yeah. Picks off another probe even with that one Ling, picks the weaker one. So, you know, it looked like he was going to die, but eventually he stabilized a little bit. That Mothership Core definitely being really the savior.
The problem for him is the all-attack loss. I mean, he survived for now, but he finds himself very much behind. I like the third Nexus, though. It's a bit of a gamble here, and if this isn't scouted, then that might be what he needs to come back in the game. But in regards to the tech, he's really behind. He's just starting now the Twilight Council, but on the other hand, we already have the Lair halfway.
Yeah. And, you know, I still think the position here for RorO is a pretty good one, but the lack of information about the third is just really hurting him now. He could have easily pressured that, forced a cancel most likely even, but now there's a wall, cannons finishing.
That was a pretty decent gamble that Classic took there, actually going for the third base while the attack was still ongoing. He realized that he didn't have the production to get rid of all of the minerals that he had, so he was like, well, what am I going to do with this? I might as well just take a base. If I survive here, I can go into a very strong mid-gaming when I'm going to see it. And at this point, there was no reason for RorO to scout, so a really good decision made by Classic.
Yeah. And, you know, he's a little bit lucky, too, that he had a probe out there. Uh-oh.
You know, those Phoenixes are doing a lot of damage, and he lost really a lot of harvesters there, too. The harvester total had to save another few building structures here, trying to get his harvester count up again. But Classic is actually starting to get a really strong position in the game.
Yeah, killing those queens. This is a really big problem, though. He was not map aware about these Zerglings. Zerglings picked off several probes here. With only one cannon, though, he's able to do some damage. I think that
third base.
Yeah, that third base is really potentially going to win him this game. Tech is still a problem, though. He's got a late robo. He does have blink, has the ability to start +2 as he does now. And the upgrades for RorO are really hurting him because he's so far behind. He's going to get Hydras out here, but he's going to be down on upgrades. And there won't be any AoE, but there will be blink. And I think he should easily be able to hold with blink. And also, he's losing Hydras to these Phoenixes just one at a time here. He's got to keep those at the spores. Ouch.
Well, right now, 3 base against 3 base, the position of Classic is going to get better and better by the minute. He's going, well, RorO is going into the Infestation Pit now. +2 has been started for Classic, and his economy is just incredible. That late scout on that third base really could ruin RorO the game now. He's trying to get everything into the picture, but Classic is already gearing up to do some damage, and RorO is taking this 4th base, attempting to do that quite late. Phoenix says with a, yes, the last second Graviton beam there. He denies the 4th. Even a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's so annoying. This one group of Hydras is trying to control the Phoenixes, but they're just too fast. And now we see a Locust transition, the Swarm Host transition coming out here. And the timing of this actually works out okay for a wave or two, but the AoE damage is coming. And if this is scouted, he can easily, before the Locusts come out, put a snipe on this 4th. Looks like he's just going to go for it anyways. Easily going to force a cancel here.
Yeah, the 4th will never go up here. That is definitely true. And the Locusts are a pretty good choice. Going for the Swarm Hosts is something that he can definitely accomplish. The problem is that I don't really see it coming into play as it did, for example, in the GSTL, where we had the game with Boom Boom.
Yeah. And it's been scouted already by a hallucinated Phoenix, and so now the second robotics is going up, so he can make double Colossi. And this is going to make it relatively easy for him to not only defend this, but also take a fourth. First of all, he's going to go for a big Zealot Warp in here. 7 Zealots, or even more than that.
Very late scout on it too, and now the Locusts are being attacked, but what is he supposed to do? He has to be using a few units to just save his main base. At the same time, suddenly the third is exposed. And keep in mind, there's also the macro hatch. It's not only about that third, it's the macro hatch as well. His production is caught in.
Yeah, his production is caught here. Speaking of production, those Hydras coming out in the worst possible place. And great force field, so he is going to have to run away. But he's targeting down the lair in the main. The lair will fall, the Hydra Den is gone, and this is just looking like a terrible place for RorO here, who's not even microing his roaches. They're starting to fall on the main base as well.
RorO is currently caught between a rock and a hard place. This is not looking good. To get the Hydralisk back into the picture, he needs to take up to lair first. He has also no mining in the main base anymore, and there are still several mineral patches left. The fourth base might be his saving grace, but at this point you can really see that the income in general for Classic is just surpassing the Berserk player so much. Double Colossus production, range +3 coming up, charge being researched. Classic is showing us why exactly he has such an incredible record against Zerg.
Yeah, he really is. A few Corruptors coming out here, but only 4 of them, not really going to be enough. And with the fourth base coming up here for Classic, he's just going to have so much money to dump either into run-bys like he's going to go for here again, which, by the way, he did snipe the Spore Crawler in the main base. You know, for me, actually, if I snipe the lair and I kill the Spore in the main, I'd probably make a Dark Shrine, but he doesn't even have to. He's so ahead here. He's just dropping Zealots after Zealots in the main, not even trying to abuse the fact that his opponent does not have detection here. Going to go for the spawning pool first. Can even target the Roach Warren. Does lose the Warp Prism this time.
Another problem here is that there's no creep spread in the main base anymore because of the lack of the hatch. So right now the spawning pool will go down. The other structures are also losing hit points, and the Roaches and Hydralisks that are sent into the base to defend, they are too far to the left of the main base, so they can't even do anything here. You didn't see that. And now we have a massive army for Classic. He held this early aggression so well, and this ballsy choice to go into this early third really is winning him the game right now. We had 180 against 160 supply, so supply-wise there's not that much of a difference, but it's just the tech that they have. +2 attack already done for the Protoss against +1 for the Zerg player, +3 about to finish, and here comes Classic. He wants to win it right now.
He wants to win it right now, but he's up against a lot of ground DPS. Nice hallucinated Colossus here, and it looks like he will actually break through. Just way too much DPS. The Locusts are on cooldown, and now he's going in to kill his foremost. GG.
GG, and